Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you.
Time to wallow in the mud. Try now, we can only lose.
If you were flipping channels in the 80s or 90s, chances are you stopped the moment Val Kilmer appeared on screen. There was something about him, an unpredictable spark, a glimmer of mischief, a haunting stillness that made him impossible to ignore. Whether he was taunting Tom Cruise as the icy Iceman in Top Gun or slipping into the tortured soul of Jim Morrison in The Doors, Kilmer didn't just act, he transformed. On April 1st, 2025, at the age of 65, Val Kilmer passed away in Los Angeles from complications related to pneumonia. For over a decade, he had faced the aftermath of throat cancer, a battle that changed his voice, but not his spirit. His life and legacy remind us that resilience can be just as powerful as talent. Kilmer's career was never linear. A Juilliard-trained actor, he could quote Shakespeare as easily as he could wield a batarang. He made us laugh in cult comedies like Top Secret, and Real Genius then stunned us with his layered magnetic performances in Tombstone, Heat, and The Salton Sea. As Batman in Batman Forever, he added a quiet vulnerability to the Caped Crusader. And in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, opposite Robert Downey Jr., he reintroduced himself to a new generation with sharp wit and edge. But his most profound role came later in life, simply being himself. In the 2021 documentary Val, we saw the man behind the characters, the father, the artist, the survivor. Even as illness stole his voice, Kilmer spoke louder than ever, through his words, his art, his children, and his enduring performances. His story wasn't always easy. He could be elusive, even divisive in Hollywood circles. But that very mystery was part of his magic. He didn't seek to be understood. He sought to create. As we look back on the man, the myth, the movies, what moment made you stop and really see Val Kilmer? Share your favorite scene or quote below, and let's remember together the fire he brought to the screen and the quiet strength that defined his final act. David Thomas, the groundbreaking voice behind Pere Ubu and a defining figure in experimental rock, passed away on April 23, 2025, at the age of 71, following a long illness. His final moments were accompanied by the sounds of the MC5, an apt farewell for an artist who lived at the electric edge of innovation. Born in Miami in 1953 and raised in the industrial landscape of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, Thomas was deeply shaped by the grit and decay of his hometown. This environment gave birth to Pere Ubu in 1975, a band that defied genre and expectation, crafting what Thomas famously called avant-garage. With raw, scraping guitar textures, jagged rhythms, and his haunting, theatrical voice, he redefined what rock music could be. Albums like The Modern Dance and Dub Housing weren't just records. They were manifestos of creative rebellion. Thomas was more than a frontman, he was a visionary. He juggled multiple projects, from solo ventures to rock operas like Mirror Man, all while lecturing, writing, and carefully curating a vast personal archive of live recordings. He approached art with humor, depth, and an unwavering commitment to originality. Despite battling serious health issues in recent years, Thomas remained a wellspring of energy and ideas. He was working on a new Pere Ubu album and an autobiography at the time of his passing, projects his collaborators have vowed to complete. David Thomas leaves behind not just a body of work, but a way of thinking. He taught us that music doesn't need to fit into neat categories. It just needs to be honest. In his own words, "My ambition for Pere Ubu was to be discovered in a used record bin in 30 years. Many of us found him long before that, and we're all the better for it."
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
Breaking headlines and sky-high stunts, the real story behind Tom Cruise's unmatched Hollywood run, from hanging off airplanes at 120 miles per hour to redefining the modern action hero, Tom Cruise has spent over 4 decades living on the edge of cinema and controversy. But what fuels his relentless pursuit of perfection? And how does he keep pushing boundaries, physically, emotionally, and professionally, while the whole world watches? Today, we explore the triumphs, trials, and total transformation of one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Do you see Tom Cruise as a fearless icon or a misunderstood maverick? Let us know in the comments as we take a closer look. Born Thomas Cruise, Maypother 4 on July 3, 1962 in Syracuse, New York, Cruz faced hardship early. He struggled with dyslexia, moved frequently, and lived under the shadow of a strict, at times abusive father. Acting gave him an outlet, and by the early 1980s, it also gave him a way out. His breakout came with Risky Business, 1983, and then Top Gun, 1986, cemented his place as an American icon. By the end of that decade, Cruz was more than a heartthrob. He was a box office phenomenon. In the 1990s, he proved his dramatic chops with award-nominated performances in Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, A Few Good Men, and Jerry Maguire. But even as the accolades piled up, Cruz was already planning the next phase of his career, one where he would call the shots, perform his own stunts, and change the face of action filmmaking. And he did. With the launch of the Mission Impossible franchise in 1996, Cruz became not just an actor, but a full-throttle producer and stuntman. Over the next 2 decades, he scaled the Burj Khalifa, clung to the side of cargo planes, and mastered helicopter maneuvers, all without a double. His approach was not just daring, it was revolutionary. To do it all, Cruz lives with discipline. He follows a meticulous health and fitness routine that includes tailored workouts, carefully planned meals, and enough hydration to fuel a small army. In recent interviews, he shared that before filming the now famous airplane stunt in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, he ate nearly a dozen eggs each morning. Why? Because, as he said, "My body is burning a lot." It is not just about looking good, it is about surviving the demands of his own ambition. But Cruz's health-conscious lifestyle goes beyond diet and exercise. The actor is known for his punctuality, clean routines, and laser focus. At 60+, he remains in better shape than many actors half his age. His commitment to longevity is not performative, it is practical. When your brand is built on pushing human limits, your body becomes your most important co-star. Still, no story about Tom Cruise is complete without addressing the controversies. In 2005, Cruz stirred national conversation when he criticized the use of certain medical treatments during an interview on The Today Show. The clip went viral, drawing sharp criticism and sparking debates across households. Later that year, his exuberant appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show, where he jumped on a couch to declare his love for actress Katie Holmes, became a pop culture lightning rod. While some fans saw it as spontaneous joy, others questioned his sincerity and stability. And then, there is his relationship with the Church of Scientology. Cruz is one of the most visible members of the church, and his close association has been both a point of pride and a lightning rod for criticism. Though he rarely speaks in detail about it today, his ties have impacted public perception, professional relationships, and even custody discussions related to his family life. Yet, Cruz has shown a remarkable ability to weather storms. After a few rocky years, his career rebounded with force. Mission: Impossible, Ghost Protocol, 2011, reignited interest in the franchise, and his performances in Edge of Tomorrow, American Made, and Top Gun. Maverick reminded audiences that he is not just surviving in Hollywood, he is leading. Top Gun, Maverick, 2022 in particular, was a turning point. Released at a time when theatrical moviegoing was still recovering, the film became a global success and a symbol of Cruz's draw. The movie earned over $1 billion worldwide, reinvigorated blockbuster cinema, and brought older and younger audiences together in ways few films could. What makes Cruz's comeback even more remarkable is that he never stopped pushing himself. During the filming of Mission: Impossible: Dead Reckoning, he revealed that he nearly passed out performing certain stunts. His body, even after decades of training, was tested like never before. But Cruz saw it as part of the job, part of the thrill. "I want audiences to know that it is real," he has said. "I do this for them." Of course, the pressures are enormous. In 2025, reports surfaced that Cruz was experiencing the most stress of his career amid delays and changes tied to Mission: Impossible 8. Despite that, he remained committed to finishing the film with the same energy and intensity that fans expect. That perseverance has become his trademark, not just surviving Hollywood, but conquering it again and again. Off-screen, Cruz keeps his personal life mostly private. He is rarely seen with his children in public, and he tends to avoid social media. He prefers to let his work speak for itself, and it does, loudly. Whether you admire him, question him, or both, Tom Cruise is a man who refuses to coast. He does not settle. He does not slow down. So, where is Tom Cruise now? He is still flying high, literally and figuratively. He is rewriting the rules of what aging in Hollywood can look like. He is pushing past criticism, past comfort zones, and into new territory with every project, and he is showing no signs of stopping. What is your favorite Tom Cruise moment? Was it the first time you saw him sprint across a rooftop, or the time he made you believe a fighter jet could roar through the sky with heart? Share your thoughts below and let us know what you think of his incredible journey. Because whether you see him as fearless or complicated, one thing is certain: Tom Cruise is still running, and the world is still watching.
I'm really going to do is sing a song. And that's what he did. He just sang a song at the press conference.
It's unbelievable. It was truly...
There are moments in television that feel larger than life, so perfectly orchestrated, so full of emotion, that they stay with us for decades. Behind many of those moments stood one man, Don Mischer, the quiet maestro of live television. On April 11, 2025, Mischer passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 85, following complications related to liver failure. Don Mischer wasn't just a director, he was a storyteller of real-time history. From the Olympic opening ceremonies in Atlanta and Salt Lake City to the magic of Super Bowl halftime shows and the elegance of the Emmys, Oscars, and Tonys, Mischer turned fleeting moments into lasting memories. He brought us Muhammad Ali lighting the Olympic torch, a rain-drenched Prince transforming a halftime show into visual poetry, and countless heartfelt tributes on national stages. Born in San Antonio, Texas in 1940, Mischer's fascination with live broadcasting began in childhood. That passion carried him through a long, extraordinary career that earned him 15 Emmy Awards, 10 Directors Guild of America Awards, and the admiration of peers and performers alike. He was known not for fanfare, but for the emotion he captured, never overproduced, always authentic. Even in his final days, Mischer remained true to his craft, producing the Breakthrough Prize ceremony just days before announcing his retirement. For Don, Live television was never just a job. It was a calling, a way to connect people through shared experience and awe. He once said, "You want to get people here," gesturing to the heart. And indeed he did, over and over again. What's your favorite Don Mischer moment on TV? Share it below. Let's celebrate the man who made magic happen in real time.
Old man or skinny little weakling, you know. Big fat guy. Wouldn't you watch a show called Big Fat Guy?
You might recognize Nikki Caton as the unforgettable face behind dozens of films and television shows, yet few knew the gentle spirit beneath his many on-screen guises. Born in 1971, Nikki made his first appearance at age 10 in an episode of Fantasy Island, then went on to grace classics from Gremlins to Dazed and Confused. As Clint Bruno in Richard Linklater's 1993 comedy, he captured hearts with a single fight scene that revealed both toughness and vulnerability. His 3-season turn as Mr. Harry Sennett on Boston Public cemented him as a reliable presence in American homes. Across a nearly 40-year career, Nikki collaborated with directors from Robert Rodriguez, School of Rock, Planet Terror, to Christopher Nolan, Insomnia, The Dark Knight, always reimagining himself so completely that friends sometimes failed to recognize him on screen. He spoke proudly of this chameleon-like ability. "I aim to be different every time," he once said, a testament to his devotion to the craft. Behind the scenes, Nikki faced a quieter battle. Those close to him have shared that he struggled with deep bouts of depression, a challenge he never outlined in interviews, but bore with the same determination he brought to every role. In April 2025, at the age of 54, he passed away by his own hand at his Los Angeles home. News of his passing, confirmed by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner and shared by outlets such as The Hollywood Reporter and People, left colleagues mourning a true artist. Robert Rodriguez summed up his joy at knowing Nikki. His creativity and warmth lit up every set. Nikki's legacy lives on through the rich tapestry of characters he brought to life. For older audiences who grew up watching his performances, he remains a reminder that every supporting role can leave a lasting impression, and that beneath every character, there is a human story worth honoring.
Copyside, people security, into futurity, sum up your history, clear up a mystery, humor proclivity, for a nativity, for a nativity.
Clive Revel's journey began far from Hollywood's bright lights, in Wellington, New Zealand, where a young bank clerk discovered his love for Shakespeare and dared to follow Laurence Olivier's advice to study at London's Old Vic Theatre School. He arrived in England with little more than determination and a suitcase, yet within 2 years, he was making his Broadway debut in Mr. Pickwick, an early sign that his talent would know no borders. Across 7 Broadway productions, including Tony-nominated turns as Bob Lahotu in Irma la Douce and as Fagin in Oliver, Clive revealed a boundless versatility. On film, he lent his voice to the original Emperor Palpatine in The Empire Strikes Back, whispered haunting lines that still send shivers down the spine, and brought depth to characters in Billy Wilder's The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes and Avanti, earning a Golden Globe nod. Whether portraying a detective in Bunny Lake is Missing or the haunted physicist in The Legend of Hell House, Clive's performances carried a quiet intensity that audiences remembered long after the credits rolled. Behind the scenes, he faced his greatest challenge with grace. In his later years, Clive contended with dementia, leaning on the love of his daughter, Kate, and the warmth of friends who treasured his stories of the stage and screen. On March 11, 2025, at the age of 94, he passed away peacefully at his care facility in Sherman Oaks, surrounded by those who cherished him. For older viewers who grew up marveling at his every transformation, from Shakespearean hero to galaxy-spanning emperor, Clive's legacy endures in each whisper, every subtle gesture, and the unforgettable spark he brought to every role. His life reminds us that true artistry transcends time, and that a single voice can echo through generations.
They are really good dads, I think, because they all had such bad experiences and because of their nature. You know, every single one of them.
Andrea Neans was a storyteller whose films found the extraordinary in everyday life. Born in Manhattan in 1962, she graduated cum laude from Harvard before reporting for NPR and ABC News, where her team earned an Emmy for a piece on gun control. Yet it was behind the documentary camera that she truly flourished, turning offbeat subjects into moving reflections on our shared humanity. Her very first independent film, Still Kicking, The Fabulous Palm Springs Follies, 1997, captured a troupe of retirees reclaiming joy in song and dance and earned Andrea an Academy Award nomination. Years later, she followed punk rock frontmen into fatherhood for The Other F Word, 2011, revealing the tender side of artists known for fierce on-stage personas. In Tiny Shoulders, Rethinking Barbie, 2018, she went inside Mattel to trace the doll's evolving image and spotlight deeper conversations about women's roles in society. More recent works, from wrestling with life after sports in Play It Forward to celebrating female comedians in Hysterical, all bore her signature compassion and curiosity. Behind every production, Andrea faced her own challenge when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Even as she navigated a difficult journey at home in Los Angeles, she remained dedicated to her craft, finishing The Cowboy and the Queen, 2023, a tender exploration of an unlikely friendship between a Texas cowboy and Queen Elizabeth II. On April 12, 2025, Andrea passed away from breast cancer, surrounded by family and her beloved dogs. She leaves behind her husband, David Nevins, and their 3 children, along with a legacy of films that invite us to see the beauty in unexpected places and to honor the resilience of the human spirit. For those of us who knew her work, her voice will continue to inspire wonder, empathy, and hope.
Je sais pas ce qu'elles ont les filles aujourd'hui, mais elles sont infernales.
Emily Dequesne's life was itself a work of art, painted in moments of raw courage and luminous talent. Born on August 29, 1981, in the small Belgian town of Belle-Île, she fell in love with the stage at age 12, training at the Music and Spoken Word Academy before joining La Relève Theatre. Yet it was at 17 that Emily's star first shone. As Rosetta, the determined teenager in the Dardenne Brothers' Rosetta, her fierce, unforgettable performance earned her Cannes Best Actress prize and helped the film claim the Palme d'Or, launching a remarkable career that blended social realism and universal emotion. Over more than 2 decades, Emily moved seamlessly between mainstream successes, Brotherhood of the Wolf and the English-language thriller Survive, and deeply felt dramas like Our Children, which won her Cannes Un Certain Regard Best Actress award, and the Oscar-nominated Close. Each role revealed her gift for inhabiting characters at life's edge, a young woman battling poverty, a mother haunted by loss, a nurse navigating political turmoil. Emily carried each story with quiet strength and unerring empathy. In October 2023, she learned she was facing adrenocortical carcinoma, a rare cancer of the adrenal gland. Even as the disease took its toll, Emily continued to create, completing Survive, and inspiring all who worked beside her with her determination and grace. On March 16, 2025, Emily passed away from complications of that rare cancer, surrounded by loved ones in a Paris area hospital. She leaves behind her husband, Michel Faraci, and their daughter, Milla, as well as a legacy of performances that forever changed the landscape of European cinema. For older audiences who grew up watching her transform before our eyes, Emily Dequesne will always be more than an award-winning actress. She will remain a testament to the power of the human spirit and the beauty found in every honest performance.
I knew I couldn't control him anymore.
Yeah.
At first, I was really jealous of Rebecca because she took...
For many viewers, Mama Mary Schmucker, was more than a television personality. She was a guiding light of warmth and faith. Born and raised in Pennsylvania, Mary first captured hearts when her son Abe appeared on TLC's Breaking Amish in 2012. With her gentle humor and steadfast devotion to family, she became an immediate fan favorite, sharing her thoughts on love, change, and the bonds that hold us together. Across 44 episodes of Breaking Amish and its spin-off Return to Amish, Mary's honest reflections, whether on home life, gardening, or cozy live-stream chats with over 35,000 Instagram followers, offered comfort and connection to viewers of all ages. She celebrated each season of family gatherings with the same grace that endeared her to audiences nationwide. In early 2022, Mary was diagnosed with colon cancer. Though she faced every setback with courage and a gentle smile, the illness advanced over time. After a period of hospice care beginning in November 2024, she chose to spend her final moments at home, surrounded by her husband Chester, children Abe, Katie Ann, Andrew, and her beloved grandchildren. On March 28, 2025, Mary passed away due to complications from colon cancer, leaving behind memories of her loving spirit and unwavering faith. For older audiences who remember her warm greetings and heartfelt advice, Mary's journey reminds us of the power of resilience and the importance of cherishing each moment with loved ones. Her legacy endures in every family story shared, every garden she nurtured, and every viewer she inspired to embrace hope and kindness, no matter what challenges life may bring. Bob Bingham's deep, resonant voice first commanded attention in the early 1970s, when he stepped into the role of Caiaphas in the original Broadway production of Jesus Christ Superstar. Born on October 29, 1946, in Seattle, Washington, Bob honed his gifts at the University of Washington before earning acclaim in Seattle and Miami productions of Hair. But it was as the high priest Caiaphas, on stage and then in Norman Jewison's 1973 film, that he became a fixture in the hearts of theater-goers and film audiences alike. Across those formative years, Bob brought a rare blend of vocal power and emotional depth to every character he embodied. In 1974, he surprised fans by trading his robes for modern attire, starring as the titular figure in Arthur Miller's Up from Paradise. Yet even as his spotlight dimmed, he carried that same sense of purpose into his later work, first on Broadway and then in quieter roles, such as his appearance in Juan Orol's El Fantástico Mundo de los Hippies. After stepping back from performing, Bob embraced a new chapter as a manager at Talon, the zipper company in Brewster, New York. Mornings found him guiding the production line. Afternoons, he would reminisce with family over old playbills and photographs. He married his college sweetheart, Idilcia Aracena, and together they raised 2 children, Franklin and Yasemin, in a home filled with love, laughter, and the gentle echo of his tenor. On February 8, 2025, Bob passed away at age 78, succumbing to complications of a long-standing illness at Putnam County Hospital. He leaves behind a legacy that stretches from the thunderous applause of Broadway to the quiet pride of family life. For viewers who remember his commanding stage presence, and for loved ones who recall his warm smile at the breakfast table, Bob Bingham's life reminds us that true artistry endures, in every note sung, every story told, and every heart touched by his remarkable voice.
And the fairy tales. I guess what we're looking for now is a happy ending. Only one country can have that, I'm afraid.
Colin Barry was a reassuring voice in British broadcasting, whose work found a special place in the hearts of night owls and Eurovision fans alike. Born on October 29, 1946, in Seattle, Washington, He first cut his teeth on Radio Caroline in 1965, embracing the adventurous spirit of pirate radio. His warm, steady manner soon carried him ashore to BBC Radio Medway and HTV Cardiff, before he settled at BBC Radio 2, where for more than 3 decades he became a familiar companion in listeners' homes. In 1979, Colin made history as Radio 2's very first overnight host, guiding late-night listeners through music, local what's on tips, and a friendly cookery segment for those craving a midnight snack. Over the years, he lent his calm authority to landmark shows such as Night Ride and Music Through Midnight, and even stepped in for daytime legends like Sir Terry Wogan. Yet perhaps his most enduring legacy came each spring when millions tuned in to hear him announce the UK's votes at the Eurovision Song Contest, a role he held with effortless grace for 25 years. After leaving Radio 2 in 2012, Colin continued to share his love of music and conversation on BBC Three Counties Radio until 2019 and made a final on-air appearance in 2017. Known for his genuine warmth and unfailing professionalism, he quietly inspired colleagues across the industry. On April 17, 2025, Colin passed away peacefully at the age of 79 due to natural causes, as confirmed by his family. Though he is no longer with us, his voice lives on in cherished recordings and in the memories of listeners who found comfort in his gentle introductions and thoughtful commentary. For older audiences who grew up tuning in after dark or eagerly awaited his Eurovision announcements, Colin Barry remains a reminder of broadcasting at its most human, steadfast, sincere, and ever so kindly. Dale Wilson's resonant voice brought to life some of our most beloved animated heroes and villains over a remarkable 5-decade career. Born in Canada in 1950, he first discovered his gift for performance in community theater before finding his true calling behind the microphone. To generations of anime fans, he was the chilling cell-in-the-ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, yet his range knew no bounds. He also voiced the gentle android Number 8, the watchful King Yema, and the wise Kami. Beyond anime, Dale lent his commanding tones to Saturday morning staples like G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, where he portrayed Captain Gridiron, Mutt, Overkill, and Skydive, and to cinematic video game worlds as Akuma in Street Fighter and Principal Kelly in X-Men Evolution. His work in Cardcaptor Sakura, Jinro, and Black Lagoon further showcased his ability to inhabit characters both tender and terrifying. Off the air, Dale was a guiding light for his peers. Colleagues remember his tireless advocacy with the Union of British Columbia Performers, securing fair agreements that benefited generations of Canadian talent. To Ian James Corlett, Goku's English voice, Dale was a North Star, generous with mentorship and friendship. In 2022, Dale faced 2 profound challenges: a diagnosis of metastatic prostate cancer and Parkinson's disease. Through every setback, he carried himself with quiet dignity, cherishing each recording session and fan interaction. On January 6, 2025, at the age of 74, he peacefully passed away from complications related to these illnesses, surrounded by his wife Gail, who lovingly announced his transition from this earthly existence. For older viewers who grew up hearing his announcements on weekend cartoons or tuning in to Dragon Ball Z marathons, Dale Wilson remains more than a voice actor. He was a storyteller whose generosity and artistry continue to inspire. His performances live on in every laugh, gasp, and roar he so masterfully delivered.
Please don't ask me to do that again.
I'm sorry, Patty.
Patty Maloney's name may bring to mind the tender smile of Alice Bates on Little House on the Prairie, but her life was an extraordinary tapestry woven from circus rings, puppetry stages, television studios, and Broadway marquees. Born in the 1930s, Patty first enchanted audiences with the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, soaring through the air with grace and daring. After a heartfelt pause to build a family, she rediscovered her calling as a puppeteer in the Croft Brothers Fold-a-Pole in 1972, mastering the silent eloquence of mime and movement. By the mid-1970s, Patty's magnetic presence lit up television screens nationwide. As Honk in Far Out Space Nuts, she painted emotions without a word. As Lumpy, Chewbacca's son, in the beloved Star Wars Holiday Special, she captured imaginations across galaxies. And as Alice Bates, the devoted school teacher on Little House on the Prairie, she became a comforting fixture in American homes. Variety specials with Donnie and Marie, appearances on Blankety Blank and Cheryl Ladd, scenes from a special, and roles in films like Swing Shift and The Addams Family showcased her limitless versatility and the joyful warmth she brought to every role. Yet Patty's remarkable journey included profound challenges. In 2010, she began coping with age-related macular degeneration, a condition that gradually dimmed her central vision. Over the years, she endured several strokes, each one a test of her resilience and beloved spirit. In late March 2025, surrounded by family and hospice care in Winter Park, Florida, Patty passed away from complications related to those strokes at the age of 89. For older viewers who grew up awaiting her gentle entrance on the prairie or laughing along with her silent antics, Patty Maloney remains more than an actress. She is testament to perseverance, joy, and the enduring power of performance. Her legacy lives on in every heart she warmed and every story she helped tell.
English language is mediocrity. There's so much mediocrity in society and what people do. Oh, I'm good enough.
Richard Norton was more than a thrilling presence on screen. He was a testament to dedication, bravery, and unshakable camaraderie. Born on January 6, 1950 in suburban Croydon, Australia, he first found his calling in martial arts, earning black belts in judo and karate, and co-founding the self-defense system Zen Dokai. Those early years of disciplined training and sparring prepared him for a life both on stage and behind the camera. In 1980, Norton leapt into the spotlight opposite Chuck Norris in the Octagon, trading dojo mats for sword fights and cementing his place in action cinema history. Over the next 4 decades, he appeared in more than 70 films, from Hong Kong classics with Jackie Chan to blockbuster sagas like Mad Max, Fury Road, and Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. As a stunt coordinator, he choreographed heart-pounding sequences for Suicide Squad, Dark Phoenix, and Walker, Texas Ranger, passing on his expertise to generations of actors, including Scarlett Johansson and Charlize Theron. Despite the physical toll of decades spent vaulting through the air and trading blows on set, Norton remained remarkably vigorous well into his 70s. His wife, Judy Green, announced that on March 30th, 2025, at age 75, he passed away, and while no specific cause was disclosed, it was clear that after a lifetime of high-impact work, he had earned his rest. For older audiences who cheered each perfectly timed kick or leaned forward during his fierce stares, Richard Norton leaves more than a body of work. He leaves the memory of a man who lived and inspired others to live with courage, generosity, and an unbreakable spirit. His legacy endures in every stepping stone of martial arts cinema and in the many lives he touched both on screen and off.
Instead of a woman who says really mean things to other women.
You were an artist.
Breaking news. Owen Wilson. From private struggles to quiet strength. What keeps him going in Hollywood's harsh spotlight? He made the world laugh with his crooked smile and that unmistakable Texas drawl. But behind the scenes, Owen Wilson has walked through some of life's darkest corridors. What kept him going? And how did the man once known for comedic chaos find peace, purpose, and personal rebirth, all while still commanding a place on the big screen? Let's take a closer look at the complex, often quiet journey of one of Hollywood's most beloved and most private stars. Born on November 18, 1968 in Dallas, Texas, Owen Wilson grew up in a creative household with two brothers who also went into the arts. After being expelled from high school, he turned to writing and filmmaking, a move that would ultimately shape his life. His early collaborations with director Wes Anderson, including Bottle Rocket 1996 and Rushmore 1998, set the tone for a new kind of indie comedy. By the time The Royal Tenenbaums 2001 came around, which he co-wrote and starred in, Wilson was no longer just the funny guy with messy blonde hair. He was a bona fide Hollywood storyteller. The early 2000s were a whirlwind. Wilson starred in major hits like Zoolander, Wedding Crashers, and Starsky and Hutch, becoming one of the most bankable comedic actors in the business. His voice work as Lightning McQueen in Pixar's Cars franchise only widened his appeal. But beneath the surface, life was taking a heavier toll than fans realized. In 2007, the public got a shocking glimpse into Wilson's private battles. He was hospitalized following a personal crisis, and production companies quietly recast his role in Tropic Thunder. The media swirled with speculation, but Wilson himself remained silent, choosing healing over headlines. His older brother Andrew reportedly moved in with him, offering stability and unconditional support during those fragile months. Owen later credited his family with helping him get back on his feet. Following that difficult period, Wilson became far more selective in his public appearances and interviews. While he continued to work, he shied away from the glitz of the red carpet or late-night TV. Instead, he gravitated toward roles that allowed more emotional depth, such as Marley and Me, and the reflective, time-traveling Midnight in Paris, 2011, a role that earned him a Golden Globe nomination. Outside the screen, Wilson found comfort in visual art and nature. Friends and co-stars have described him as introspective and philosophical, a man who often escapes into museums, books, or long walks in the canyons around Los Angeles. His recent film, Paint, 2023, where he plays a gentle, Bob Ross-inspired artist, felt less like a role and more like a self-portrait, calm, kind, a bit misunderstood, but entirely sincere. Wilson's approach to wellness is not built on spectacle. He has never paraded a fitness regime or promoted a product. Instead, he keeps routines private. Those close to him speak of a man who values stillness, who rises early, who finds healing in simplicity. After the turmoil of his earlier years, Wilson's path forward has been one of quiet discipline and gratitude. But even as his career stabilized, challenges lingered. One point of controversy emerged around his personal life. Wilson has two sons, with whom he is closely involved, but reportedly has never met his daughter, Lila, born in 2018 from a previous relationship. The situation has stirred public debate, especially in light of Wilson's typically family-oriented image. Though he provides support, his silence on the matter has only fueled speculation. And then there was the misstep at a Rolling Stones concert in Argentina, where Wilson, perhaps a bit too curious, mistakenly walked onto the stage mid-performance. Security escorted him off, and his lifetime backstage pass was revoked. He later joked about the incident, chalking it up to a misunderstanding and poor timing. For fans, it was a reminder that even the most grounded stars can trip over the edge of the spotlight. Through it all, Wilson has remained true to his creative roots. His collaborations with Wes Anderson have continued with films like The Grand Budapest Hotel and The French Dispatch, where he brings a sense of wonder and wistfulness few actors can match. In recent years, he has even stepped into the world of Marvel, playing Mobius in Loki, a fan-favorite role that reintroduced him to a new generation. And now, nearly 3 decades after his debut, Owen Wilson's career feels steadier than ever. Not because he is chasing the biggest box office returns, but because he has found a rhythm that works for him. He acts, he writes, he parents, he walks, he lives, all on his own terms. So where is Owen Wilson now? He is right where he needs to be, not everywhere, but fully present. He is making art, raising his sons, quietly thriving. His journey is not one of perfection, but of persistence, and that, perhaps, is what makes it so deeply relatable. What has Owen Wilson's story meant to you? Have his films brought you joy? Has his resilience offered quiet inspiration? Let us know in the comments as we celebrate not just the characters he has played, but the very human journey of the man behind the roles. Because in a world that often rewards volume, Owen Wilson reminds us that sometimes the softest voice carries the greatest strength.